watches from the top of a spiral staircase?
Does an old miner playfully linger in this historical saloon?
What ghost mysteriously drinks bourbon left on the bar?
Find out the answers to these questions and more as we uncover the spirited hauntings and history from the old Washoe Club in Virginia City, Nevada.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm Erica.
And this is The Haunted Atlas, a Haunted U.S. podcast. In the interest of fully exploring history of certain locations, The Haunted Atlas may discuss sensitive or disturbing topics. Listener discretion is advised.
Nothing sets the scene of a rough and tumble gold rush town quite like a rowdy saloon. And although Virginia City certainly has a few, none have reached the level of infamy as the old Washoe Club. However, in the years since the silver veins were depleted, echoes of those days still linger in the old Washoe, making it one of the most famously haunted places in the entire country. So our history starts in 1875 with the opening of the first Washoe Club in Virginia City. So there was an original building there, but then unfortunately the Great Fire of 1875 in Nevada occurred, and it destroyed most of the town, including the first club.
Oh, wow. So it's the same year that it's opened, it burns down.
Yes.
Great.
And I honestly don't know how close the two dates were. Like, it only seems 1875. But the fire was pretty significant to this time. So it actually began close to Piper's Opera House. And online, I was actually able to find the opera's application to be included in the National Register of Historic Places, and they wrote a small report on the fire in their application.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. And so apparently there was a boarding house in Virginia City run by someone named Crazy Kate O'Shea, and she was called crazy by multiple sources, but I couldn't find a reason.
Oh, I was going to ask, what's the reason to get that title?
No idea. I did look, but I couldn't find anything.
So this is in the late 1800s then?
Yes.
Interesting. I wonder how she got that title.
I know. And I mean, it's pretty cool because she was running the boarding house. I don't really know how common that was back then.
Maybe that's why.
Oh my gosh, you're right. Maybe they were like...
To run a boarding house? Crazy.
Yeah. So apparently in this boarding house, an oil lamp was knocked over by a quote-unquote careless boarder. That was in the report. And that's how the fire started. And so, like I said earlier, the first Washoe Club, along with most of the town, was destroyed, but they quickly rebuilt by 1876.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. I wonder if because the fire originated at her boarding house, she's considered crazy, like maybe it made her crazy or something like that, or like she's so crazy with the type of boarders she lets stay there, they burned it down.
That's actually a good point. I didn't think about the fact that the nickname might have started after her time. So the second Washoe Club, that again was kind of restored within less than a year, was established on top of this popular tavern. And it specifically catered to the wealthy elites in Virginia City, becoming extremely exclusive and eventually known as the Millionaires Club.
Oh, wow. So very exclusive.
Yes, you actually did have to be a millionaire.
That's wild to me that it's on top of a tavern, because I would think you would want like a country club or something like that with more amenities perhaps. But maybe that just adds to the exclusivity because it's like, oh, look at all the other patrons downstairs.
Actually, that's fair. Like the condescension of being upstairs.
Right.
But there actually, so to your point, there was a darker side to this club. So there were some back stairs in the building that led up to the exclusive club. And it's been reported that the upstairs area was also used as a brothel. And so maybe that's why they put it on top, like just so that it was kind of secluded.
Like in the actual club itself or on top, like a third story on top?
I don't think a third story. I think like the second floor had like multiple areas.
That's wild.
Yeah.
It's like a Millionaires Club sandwiched between, I mean, not completely sandwiched, but kind of sandwiched between a brothel and a tavern.
Yeah.
What a concept.
Yeah, honestly, it's a multi-functioning building for sure. But the backstairs that were there were most often used by the women who worked at the brothel. So again, to your point, it may have been like easy to, if they didn't really want anyone to know about their activities up there, to get people up from the back.
That makes sense.
Stairs.
A secret way.
Yes. Darker still is the report of a woman who worked in the building, possibly named Lena, who was murdered in one of the upstairs rooms.
Interesting. She was murdered by a customer?
Yes, but I couldn't find any more details. It's not like there were reports, which is, I mean, I guess that's pretty common for the time, I think. I don't think that people who worked in a brothel were reported on or like well known enough to get articles, you know, because sometimes we can find articles like about the death of someone.
Yeah, and they might have wanted to just kind of cover it up.
Yes. In addition to the fact that this club was exclusive and exclusivity kind of like brings in a lot of people, the Comstock Lode silver deposit was prospering at this time in Nevada. Now, for those who are unfamiliar with this deposit, it actually started as a search for gold by someone named Henry Comstock. But the miners were unable to get to the gold because it was surrounded by what they described as bluish clay that turned out to be silver.
Oh my God. Wow.
I know. I can't even imagine the first person who like figured that out and they were like, guys, we could be just like mining this. Why are we trying to get around it?
Wait a second. I think we have something here.
Yes, yeah. And so Virginia City, the specific part of Nevada, was built on top of the most concentrated parts. So the town, in turn, was also prospering. And the Washoe Club, because of that, ended up remaining highly active for as long as the mines did, and it welcomed in prominent individuals such as Ulysses S. Grant and Edwin Booth.
Whoa, Ulysses S. Grant. That's wild to think about because I understand this is a Millionaires Club, but it also seems kind of shady.
Yes, I thought the same thing. I was like, a U.S. president. Huh. But the silver deposit's lifespan unfortunately ended in the late 1800s, and the Washoe Club was formally dissolved in 1897. So without the deposits and the mining, it kind of fell apart, and so it basically only had like 20 years of prosperity.
That's crazy if you think about it, that in that short amount of time, it could grow to such a reputation to bring prominent figures there.
Yes. And the other thing I thought was interesting about that time span is like when you're kind of looking at it like an overview, 20 years seems like a lot of time, but someone could have lived there, saw the rise, and also saw the fall.
Right.
It's just like one person's not even half of their life. Okay, so remember earlier when I had said that the club was built on the popular
tavern? Mm-hmm.
That tavern actually remained open for years, even after the club had closed and the mining booms had subsided, because Virginia City continued to stay alive because of tourism.
Oh, interesting. So what happened to the space then?
I think it was just abandoned.
Wild.
Yeah.
The brothel closed as well?
Yes. The building was kind of like just that first floor. Now, I think I've mentioned this before, but I'm a huge fan of Western films.
Yes.
Which is, yeah, I love them so much. But it's actually films like those Westerns that were popular in the 1950s that increased the interest in the old mining towns and helped with the population losses.
Interesting. So is this still sustained from tourism?
That's a really good question. And yes, it's kind of interesting that it's carried all the way to the future, to this modern period of time. But yeah.
Over 100 years, 150 almost. Over 150.
So then finally, in 1961, Virginia City was declared a National Historic Landmark, and people worked to restore the historical parts of the town from those old mining days. Because of this, the old Washoe Club was brought back.
For Millionaires?
No, not Millionaires this time, which is good. You know, visitors can now tour the abandoned club space upstairs. The first floor saloon is still open, and there's a museum on site as well.
So was the brothel on a separate floor than this Millionaires Club, or were they on the same floor?
There were 3 floors, so likely they split things up from each one.
Okay. So when you visit, because you can still go to that main floor area and then see the abandoned space, is it family friendly? Do they lean into the dark past? Do they lean into the hauntings?
I would say it's definitely family friendly, but they do lean into their hauntings, which we always love a historical place doing. I think they kind of take pride in like the historical events that happened there that kind of led to the hauntings, and they kind of give it a good ambiance too. Like they don't really turn a lot of lights on when you're up there, so you kind of have to walk around with flashlights.
That's interesting. Definitely fits kind of like the spooky, mysterious Millionaires Club type vibe.
Yes. So with almost 200 years of history, it's not surprising at all that the people who visit and learn about the history end up leaving with stories of the paranormal.
Hey guys, I'm Tommy from Tommy Cullum's Let's Get Freaky podcast, where we talk to real people and have real conversations about paranormal experiences, including ghosts, cryptids, UFOs, and all high strangeness, and even a little bit of conspiracy too. So if you enjoy these freaky conversations, check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And we're also available to watch on YouTube. Tommy Cullum's Let's Get Freaky.
With the old Washoe Club's history as a bustling bar, it's no surprise that the afterlife here is still a party. One of the most prominent ghosts here is the Lady in Blue. She's commonly seen at the top of the club's spiral staircase, and many refer to her as Lena.
Mm-hmm.
So earlier in the episode, we talk about Lena's death. So remind us what happened with her.
Yes, so there aren't a ton of specific details, but Lena was one of the women who worked in the brothel upstairs and was reportedly murdered by one of the clients.
I found a similar thing, and I could not find details on the murder. I know we talked about it in the history section. It could have gone unreported, but it seems like, unfortunately, she can't even escape her captor in her afterlife because supposedly the killer is seen as a shadow figure in the upper floors of the building.
Oh my gosh, that's horrible.
I know. That sounds absolutely miserable to me.
You know, it's crazy that you say that because there weren't a lot of reports. It's like I didn't even think about who that might be.
Right. It could have been a member of the club. Who knows if it was someone else that worked there,
Yeah.
a manager, another of the women that worked there. We don't really know, but it suggested that this was male because people say the ghost is male. And there's actual footage of an entity moving on the upper floors that people think is Lena's killer.
My God, I really hope that she's able to just stay on one side of the building and get away without it being too stressful.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting. Whenever I think about how ghosts might interact, I always wonder if, one, of course, they're intelligent hauntings that know that they're dead, but also, are they aware of the other ghosts, or do they kind of just operate in silo?
It would be a nice thought to think that they're in two different planes, so he can never find her, and she doesn't know that he's hunting her.
Or, I'm completely flipping the coin to the dark side.
Yeah.
Is it like Groundhog's Day of her murder?
Oh, God, that would be awful.
Yeah, like that movie Death Day. Happy Death Day, I think it's
yes.
called. Yeah.
It was no, I'm not going to spoil it. Oh, sorry to all of our listeners who haven't seen it.
While there is the Lady in Blue, there's also said to be a young woman in white. Now, we know that there's a typical trope of a woman in white. That's typically looking for something such as a lover or a child or something like that. This is actually a girl wearing a white dress. She is said to be shy, but will sometimes grab or touch people on the spiral staircase.
So is she young then, like a child?
Yeah, people say when they're touched, it feels as if a child is reaching out to touch them.
I wonder if she was one of the women's children.
I did not even consider that.
And then I'm like, okay, see, this is so far out, but what if she's Lena's child and she's looking for Lena?
It's the whole family. We're creating a complete conspiracy theory here.
Yeah.
Lena, this is my theory, and I have absolutely no historical basis, but this ties the ghosts together. Lena had the killer's baby, which is this girl, and the whole family's there. It's a family function in the afterlife, and it's terrible.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
I mean, I hope that that's not the case.
No, of course not.
But it is interesting that Lena is seen at the top of the spiral staircase and this girl is on the staircase.
Right, because as I had mentioned in the history section, the women who worked at the brothel would walk up that staircase to their clients. So it's like if the young girl was a child of someone who worked there, it would make sense that she'd maybe be on the stairs, not on the floor.
That does make sense. Or she could have been the child of someone that was a member at the old Washoe Club.
Also true, yeah.
Yeah, it could be. I know that's a dark conspiracy theory that I got into there, but, who knows? We don't have a lot of information about the ghosts, unfortunately.
No.
In the bar, there are claims of a playful spirit is alleged to be a former prospector. So prospectors, as we've discussed in previous episodes, are people who are searching for mineral deposits. So this would be a gold rush era person.
Okay.
And that makes sense with the height of the old Washoe Club.
Yeah, and I think there was a lot of camaraderie, so it makes sense to me that this would have been a playful spirit because I don't know too many specifics about what life was like back then as a miner in these towns, but I can imagine that it might have been a good experience if you were choosing to be here and you had a bunch of people around you also mining kind of thing.
Yeah, it could be. And what's interesting about this spirit is they are seen on that main floor where the tavern was, as opposed to the second or third floor where the actual Millionaires Club would have been. So it makes me wonder if they're part of the Millionaires Club or just kind of a patron at the other tavern.
Yeah.
But this ghost is definitely physically active. He is said to move bar stools, knocking them over, and open doors for women who enter the bar.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Yeah, it's really interesting to me because it's like a old school gentleman-y type of thing to do.
Yes.
How sweet. And it specifically is said to happen when women walk in, not men.
So the doors just swing open.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. That's really interesting to me. And perhaps the coolest part, in my opinion, about this ghost is that if shots of bourbon are left on the bar, he will move them or even, quote, drink them, causing the liquor to vanish.
That is a very unique haunting. I don't think I've ever heard of something like that before.
Yeah, I love it. Like you said, with camaraderie and having fun, it's like he's just loving his time there. He's opening doors for people. He's knocking over stools just for the heck of it.
Yeah.
He's taking shots of bourbon.
Yeah.
It's really interesting because I looked into this and people will actually buy the ghost a shot.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
I know, and leave it on the bar.
Yeah.
And at first I thought, is this a gimmick for, the club to make more money? But a shot is a shot. It's not like they're not pouring the bourbon.
Right.
In 1982, an old Washoe bartender named Scotty died by suicide with a gunshot after his son fell down an abandoned mine shaft.
Oh, that's such a sad story.
He is said to haunt the third floor near the back of the building, and I think this is a haunting that makes a lot of sense. Not only is it a tragic end, but there's a lot of emotionality tied to it, so I think it would make sense that he would still exist in this space.
Yes, definitely. Especially because it makes sense if he's in the back, coming up the back stairs from the tavern.
Oh, that is an interesting point. It's also interesting to me, of course, we have a lot of spirits here, but he's kind of like the exact opposite of the guy in the bar who's there to have a good time. He's tied here. Actually, I'm going to take that back. He's not just the opposite of the guy in the bar. The guy in the bar is the outlier here.
Yeah.
If you think about it, because Lena's here for tragic reasons. Scotty's here for tragic reasons. The killer's here tied to a tragedy.
Yeah.
The only one that is questionable is the child.
Right, because we don't really have much information.
Yeah. But when you think about it, the ghost in the bar downstairs is just such a happy, positive force. It kind of made me forget about all the other negative spirits here.
Yeah, and to be honest, I'm wondering if spirits can communicate in the afterlife. If, the person on the bottom floor is able to kind of see and talk with the young child on the stairs and so keeps up a playful thing downstairs because of everything that's going on the above floors.
Oh, I love that. It's like there's murders happening up there, but look at me knocking over this bar stool.
Yeah.
You know what is something interesting? And again, I have a lot of maybe crazy theories this episode, but let's consider the fact that ghosts can get drunk for a second.
Okay, that was what I was going to say.
Yes, because if he's taking the shots of bourbon, is he really knocking over the bar stools on purpose, or is he falling off the bar stools because he's drunk?
I was going to ask if you thought that ghosts could get drunk.
I have not ever thought about that in my life, I don't think. But for this case, I'm going to say yes.
I feel, yeah.
He's just like drunk all the time, having a party.
No hangover.
No.
Assumedly. So it's just all the good parts.
It's just a 24/7 party.
Correct.
With no repercussion.
Right.
He can't get in trouble for anything he does. He's already dead.
Yeah.
Wow. What
Probably
a concept.
living out his like real life fantasy of just like wreaking havoc on the tavern.
Yeah, right. But he's not above opening the door for people.
Yeah.
This location has been a part of paranormal pop culture, and actually in a very significant way. It appeared in the Ghost Adventures documentary that was released in the 2000s. And this is actually where the footage of that apparition on the upper floor comes from.
Oh.
Yeah, so the alleged killer shadow figure footage comes from this Ghost Adventures documentary. And it was the start of Ghost Adventures.
Oh my gosh, that's actually so cool. I did not know that.
Yeah, the film was released in 2004 independently, and the team went on to eventually have a TV show. It's unsurprising because at the time, the footage of the apparition was unparalleled. This was a huge breakthrough for the paranormal community.
Yeah.
However, there are some questions on the validity of other portions of the documentary. Some people question the evidence that was presented, claiming that things were staged or fabricated to make it more sensational than it was.
That is always a tough discussion because obviously, like, especially in cases like these, like, we likely will never know, right? Like, there's no way for us to tell. And I think sometimes it's like when people are kind of like naysaying against the paranormal community, I do understand where they're coming from, but it makes me want to be like, well, just like you do it and then see what you get. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the only way I think of like a surefire, I know that this happened, is experiencing it yourself.
Right. And there are experiences that we've had where it would be almost unbelievable if we weren't there.
Yes. Or if we had filmed it.
Right.
And had like shown it somewhere, I would absolutely understand someone being like, they absolutely staged that.
Right. So I think, yeah, it makes sense that there is skepticism. It has also been featured on a Ghost Hunters episode.
Oh.
So kind of two big heavy hitters in the paranormal pop culture sector.
Which also must help with the tourism.
Yeah, I'm sure. Because think about it. When you think of haunted places, one of the first places people look is like Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures,
yes,
hauntedus.com, places like that. The bar does lean into the hauntings with cocktails inspired by their ghosts. There are things like the Ghost Iced Tea, the Blue Lady, and the Flaming Orb.
That's so cool. So it's basically like the museum that's there in the back and the tavern are kind of both leaning in to the hauntings, which I love because I feel like then no matter what reason you're there, you might just like end up experiencing something.
Yeah, or you can go upstairs and experience the old Washoe Club and that history, investigate yourself with a flashlight, etc. If you have been to the old Washoe Club, we would love to hear your stories. You can email the team at hauntedus.com and include Haunted Atlas, the old Washoe Club, in the subject, or find us on social media at hauntedus. Tune into the next episode to see where we drop the pin on our adventure across the haunted US. This episode of the Haunted Atlas was presented and researched by Sarah Sweeney and Erica Barrett, supported by research from Haunted US head writer Mitch Gopp, with production assistance by David Sweeney, and music by Colleen Johnson. Our executive producer is Brandon Rugsey. Haunted Atlas is a production of Haunted US. Visit hauntedus.com for more information.